After Adam Sandler plugged away for nearly a decade with small parts in commercials and TV shows, supporting roles in movies on both the small and big screen, starring roles in a complete flop and an underrated box office bomb, and a 5-season run on Saturday Night Live, he finally had his breakout film role as the star of 1995's Billy Madison.
I hate cursive and I hate all of you! I'm never coming back to school, never!
30 years later, Billy Madison remains one of the most divisive entries in Adam Sandler's massive catalog of movies. Some view it as a masterclass in crude slapstick comedy.
Poop again! He called the shit poop!
Whereas the Gene Siskel's and Roger Eberts of the world find themselves questioning how a movie so ridiculously stupid managed to help fuel the Sandman's movie career for decades to come.
And Adam Sandler has a problem, and that is, he's not an attractive screen presence. He recreates the fingernails on the blackboard syndrome. You can't stand him.
Yeah, he's obnoxious.
So grab yourself a snack pack, some sloppy joes, and a carton of milk to wash it all down with. Because in today's episode, we'll be looking back on the making and legacy of Billy Madison.
Billy Madison is going back to school to learn about the finer things in life.
That's nice!
Good literature.
It's Beauty Magazine Day!
Good food.
How's the bar, Sloppy Joe?
Lady, you're scaring us.
And beautiful women.
Want to touch the hiney?
Adam Sandler is
The smartest man alive!
Billy Madison.
Here I come!
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
For a dumb comedy about an absent-minded, gibberish-spewing slacker whose rich father bankrolled his 1st to 12th grade academic career, you might be surprised to learn that the origins of Billy Madison can be traced back to a dorm room at NYU.
You're so smart.
In 1984, drama major Adam Sandler was paired up as a roommate with accounting and international business major Tim Herlihy, immediately bonding over a shared love for the movie Animal House and comedians like Bill Murray and Rodney Dangerfield. Their working relationship began basically the second that Adam mentioned his dream of becoming a comedian.
He said, "You're doing stand-up, I'll write you some jokes." And we just met, and he just handed me 2 pieces of paper. And I read them, and they were all these jokes. I said, "Oh, man, that's right. I told you I was going to be a comedian." He said, "Oh, yeah, I wrote you those jokes." And that's how we started.
And most importantly to the story of Billy Madison, Tim's contributions played a massive part in getting Adam his big break as a cast member on Saturday Night Live.
I want that canteen.
After Mike Myers and Dana Carvey managed to take the Wayne's World sketch and turn it into a box office smash, Lorne Michaels was eager to produce more movies starring SNL talent. So he approached Adam Sandler and Tim Herlihy and asked them to come up with a script, or at the very least, an outline for a movie that Adam could star in. In Adam's trailer on the set of Airheads, the duo used index cards to brainstorm what would eventually become Billy Madison. But when it came time to flesh those ideas out in a screenplay, they realized that they knew absolutely nothing about screenwriting.
We didn't know nothing about movies. I mean, we were watching movies, so we were sitting in the trailer of Airheads doing index cards, and then I went back and I started writing this movie. I got the script for Airheads, and I got the script for another movie, PCU, that I used like for the margins and stuff.
Tim Herlihy secretly wrote out the entire thing under the working title Left Back from his work computer at a lower Manhattan law firm. When he finished it, the screenplay, which by that point had been retitled Billy Madison, was immediately sent over to Lorne. Lorne set up a meeting with Adam and Tim that was scheduled right after a taping of Saturday Night Live. Specifically, the episode hosted by Nicole Kidman, where Mike Myers debuted a helmet-headed, harness-wearing kid character named Philip.
My name is Philip. I'm hypoglycemic and hyperactive. I'm a hypo.
And Stone Temple Pilots rocked the house so hard with Creep and Naked Sunday that everybody in the audience had their asses blown clean off of their bodies.
My ass just fell off.
And hopefully STP's performance softened the punch that Lorne was about to throw at Adam and Tim, because he absolutely hated the script.
You blew it!
Lorne's biggest piece of advice was basically,
maybe do the whole movie takes place in 1 grade instead of all 12 grades.
But it didn't matter if Lorne loved it or hated it, because he was already committed to a producer role on Tommy Boy, which at that point was still called Billy the Third, a Midwestern. So he thought that 2 Saturday Night Live adjacent movies, both with the name Billy in the title, produced by the same guy, would kind of saturate the market.
Or something like that.
The good news was, a few months later, that screenplay somehow landed on the desk of Airheads producer Bob Simons, who called up Adam Sandler and said,
"I read this script you and Herlihy wrote called Billy Madison. Do you want to do that? I could get that done for you for like $6 million budget." I was like, "I get $6 million?" He goes, "No, not you." I didn't know what any of that shit meant.
Bob Simons saw Billy Madison as a low-investment, high-return opportunity, which, having just distributed the Problem Child duology under Bob's guidance with a similar formula, was exactly what Universal Pictures had been looking for.
Oh my God, I am the winner.
Billy Madison marked the moment in Adam Sandler's career where he began to take a very hands-on approach with his film projects. With Airheads, Adam Sandler shared the spotlight with 2 other actors, so the blame for its poor performance at the box office wasn't entirely pinned on him. However, as the poster boy for Going Overboard, or actually its original title, The Unsinkable Shecky Moskowitz, Adam was forever associated with one of the biggest stinkers of all time. And I'm not just talking about the piss poor reviews. This movie was so bad that initially it wasn't even released to VHS, let alone conventional movie theaters. This stinking heap went directly to second-run dollar theaters.
This is a no-budget flick, not a low-budget flick. No budget.
So right from the jump, Adam wanted to pick the film's director. And this is a guy who hinges every one of his career choices on loyalty and returning favors. With that in mind, Adam was insistent that Stephen Kessler would be the one to direct Billy Madison. Stephen's most notable work as a film director is Vegas Vacation, but at that time he was mostly known for directing TV commercials, with a 1990 MasterCard ad actually being the sole reason that Adam wanted him to direct the movie.
I was looking for something a little bigger. I'll take it.
But Universal thought that Tamra Davis would be a better choice. While Tamra thought the script was a bit off the wall, she really enjoyed it. And Tamra had recently directed the cult mockumentary CB4 with SNL cast members Chris Rock and Phil Hartman. So the studio figured she had the right sensibilities as a director to be a good fit with the countless SNL talent involved in Billy Madison.
Yeah.
However, Adam was the star, and for this decision at least, what he said went. So Tamra was put on the back burner and Stephen Kessler was hired to direct the movie instead. While Universal gave Adam free rein for a lot of the creative process, they did bring in an established writer to give the Billy Madison screenplay some structure. Even though Airheads wasn't a success at the box office, reception from the people who actually went to see it was positive enough that Universal felt comfortable letting screenwriter Rich Wilkes take a pass at the original script.
Sandler and Herlihy had not formatted it right, so it was 140 pages long. And so I had to take out like 25 pages of Billy Madison and give it some kind of structure.
So that first draft, which according to Rich Wilkes was
all over the place,
ended up being chopped and condensed, but also supplemented with new material that amounted to about 107 pages. How that many pages translated to a runtime of about 85 minutes without credits, we'll get back to that later. Billy Madison began filming throughout Toronto in June of 1994, starting on June 26 to be exact. And I only know that because Adam Sandler posted a picture of his day one call sheet on Instagram a few years back, which also revealed that Eric's office scenes were filmed in a hospital, somehow making his character even more creepy and unsettling.
We eliminate Billy Madison.
As the layabout son of Brian Madison, the wealthy titan of industry at the top of Madison hotels, Billy Madison spends his days lounging around, goofing around, and getting all around blottoed with his friends Jack, played by Norm Macdonald.
Hey, you want to feed that donkey some beer? Get it all messed up?
And Frank, played by Mark Beltzman.
Are you okay? Yeah.
All while having every one of his needs taken care of by a housekeeper named Juanita, who is perverted in the funniest way possible.
Oh, that boy's a fine piece of work, all right. He's a fine piece of ass, though, too.
And by the way, 2 different locations were used for the interiors and exteriors of Billy's mansion. And just a few years later, the original X-Men movie reused that exact combination of locations for the X-Mansion. Norm Macdonald, God rest his hilarious soul, frequently talked very highly about his time on this movie. Because, well, it turns out he went a little bit too method for the role of Jack, and essentially got paid to sit around getting shit-faced all day long.
They wanted me to play a drunk, and so I said, you got some booze?
And to the surprise of no one who has seen pretty much any Happy Madison movie over the last 25 years, Adam Sandler originally wanted his buddy Alan Covert to play Frank. But the studio didn't like his acting. And there was one other thing they had a problem with.
And then they said he had dead eyes. And I was like, no, he doesn't. He's great. They're like, nah. That was it.
Dead-Eye Cobra. I wonder how he got his nickname.
Comedian Mark Beltzman was picked for the role instead. But that worked out great because he actually came up through Chicago's Second City, where a fresh-faced Chris Farley was briefly assigned as his understudy. Completely unaware that just a few years later, they would be sitting on a movie set together eating 30 bagged lunches they stole from a bunch of little kids.
I'll tell you who took those lunches. That damn Sasquatch.
Billy's father, soon retiring from his position at Madison Hotels, understands that his son is, for lack of a better description, a complete f***up.
Are you some damned moron.
So he plans on handing control of the company over to Madison Hotel's vice president, Eric, a total douchebag with weasel-like tendencies. It's hard to believe that Adam Sandler would have fought for anyone else to play this role because Bradley Whitford absolutely crushed it.
Nice talking to you, shitheads.
But Adam initially tried to convince Universal to cast Bob Odenkirk for this part.
Wrote that for Bob Odenkirk, the bad guy in the movie. And the studio wouldn't allow it. They're like, you can't just have your friends. And we were like, no, he's great. And they said, no. It's
Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk, he was a writer on SNL.
Adam also auditioned a young, up-and-coming actor by the name of Philip Seymour Hoffman, who, if you've ever seen anything he was in, unsurprisingly crushed the audition. But by the time that Adam tried to offer him the part, he was completely uninterested in doing the movie, offering the absolute greatest response when Adam begged him to do the film over a phone call.
Do you want to do it? And he goes, oh, I can't. I go, oh, why not? He goes, I just don't want to.
Billy, stunned that the company would be handed over to someone who actually dresses himself every morning, begs his father to appoint him as chairman of Madison Hotels instead. The problem is, Billy's father paid off the administrators of every school he attended, so naturally his father sees him as a massive buffoon.
Please, Billy, please, no gibberish tonight.
The movie never really alludes to what exactly happened to Billy's mother.
My late wife Emily and I started this company.
But it's implied that she passed away, I'm guessing, pretty early on in his life, which explains the arrested development that led to a severe case of Peter Pan syndrome.
I swear to God, I'm sick. I can't go to school.
The only other time she's addressed is in a deleted scene that makes Eric look like an even bigger dickhead than before.
I'll bet your mother's smiling down on us right now, saying, fly like an eagle, Eric. You're the son I never had.
To prove he's worthy of running Madison Hotels, Billy agrees to repeat every grade from 1st to 12th grade, 2 weeks at a time.
Have a nice weekend, son. You start school on Monday.
Oh!
Ironically enough, the audience's first glimpse at a level-headed, optimistic Billy Madison, ready to grab life by the horns, marked the moment in which Stephen Kessler was fired by Universal. Because, as far as I can tell, the scene in Brian's office just so happened to be one of the last, if not the last scene shot with him in the director's chair. Stephen has never addressed his firing publicly, but there are several different takes on why exactly this happened. Adam Sandler said in a 1995 interview, the studio wanted a less stylized movie, more of me being a goof. Meanwhile, Mark Beltzman, who wasn't a friend of Stephen's at all and in turn was a bit more outspoken about the guy, said,
the first couple weeks were a little rough because there was one director who was a bit of a douchebag.
Apparently the biggest issue was that Stephen's sense of humor just didn't really mesh well with the crude, sort of immature tone of the script. And I'd imagine it's pretty hard to keep morale high in a comedy movie set when the director isn't providing encouragement in the form of laughter. This portion of the Pee Pants field trip scene was apparently shot by Stephen.
You falling in love with the wall or something?
I had an accident.
And can you imagine, as Adam Sandler, making a reaction sound as hilarious as this one?
You had an accident? What does that mean?
Goo! Looking over at the director to get his feedback, and he's just staring back at you with a blank expression like fucking Imhotep from The Mummy? That would be just absolutely soul-crushing. Before Stephen was fired, to ensure that they had a backup in place, Universal called Tamra Davis and asked if she would be able to fly out to Toronto the next day to pick up the pieces of this supposedly broken movie. At the time, the studio told her that Adam Sandler's comedic performance wasn't strong enough with Stephen behind the camera, resulting not only in poor material, but shooting was just way behind schedule as well. They needed a director who could play to his strengths and kind of loosen up the tone a bit. And Tamra proved pretty quickly that she was the right director for this movie.
I'd watched like everything I could possibly find on him and thought, okay, this is the stuff I think is funny of Adam.
When Billy gets to the first grade, it's clear that he's finally among his people. As a true man-child in every sense of the definition, Billy shines at cotton ball art, crafting pasta necklaces.
Thank you very much, Miss Lippy!
And in a game of dodgeball where he actually got to pelt young children because their parents gave Adam Sandler full permission to do so. But he also gets into a highly intelligent discussion regarding the overall quality of Donkey Kong as compared to Mortal Kombat.
I think Donkey Kong is the best game ever.
Donkey Kong sucks.
You know something? You suck.
And by the way, I do appreciate the fact that the trailer for Mortal Kombat 2 and a new Donkey Kong game dropped on the same day as I was writing this video. Shit don't change.
Shit don't change. Shit don't change.
And Billy's adventures in the first and second grade are great. I mean, Miss Lippy might be the best representation of a first grade teacher in all of entertainment. But the movie really takes on its best form when Billy starts advancing through school. Of course, getting a celebration party every time he does so.
When I graduated first grade, all my father did was tell me to get a job.
To keep the film's budget modest, Adam Sandler made sure to enlist local talent for these parties. This band that plays a hilarious dedication to Billy was discovered by Adam and Tamra Davis while they were out to dinner in Toronto.
Billy passed the third grade. Oh, what a glorious day!
They were so taken back by the performance that they had to put the band in the movie.
Rock on! Yes!
Meanwhile, the clown who has a near-fatal stilt accident was played by local legend Doo-Doo the Clown. Yes, that is his real name. Who recently made headlines because, while wearing full clown garb and driving in his clown car, he saved a woman from being assaulted. What a legend.
Doo-Doo the Clown to the rescue.
Unbelievable.
When Billy reaches the third grade, this is where he cultivates a relationship with the original Adam Sandler movie leading lady with the initials VV, the one and only Veronica Vaughn.
That Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ace.
And because his buddies Jack and Frank are back at his mansion, sleeping off a perpetual hangover, and obviously not at school with him because that would be weird, the third grade classroom is where Billy meets his first real friend.
Social studies division, this is gonna be tough.
No, not this kid. A young lad by the name of Ernie.
Social studies division, this is gonna be tough.
Relax, dude.
Kid actors can sometimes drag a movie down, but Ernie was truly such a great addition to the film. Like the part in the kitchen where he's trying to set Billy up on a date with Veronica is one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie.
Ask her if she would ever go out with somebody from class.
No!
Just do it!
A young actor named Jared Cook played this character, and after absolutely no updates on him for decades, well, other than a Barstool Sports write-up claiming he was offed by the Mexican cartel that was complete bullshit, Jared resurfaced on Reddit in September of 2021 to memorialize the passing of Norm Macdonald. Shortly after this post, he did a Reddit Ask Me Anything thread where he shared all sorts of stories about his time on the movie, including but not limited to waking Chris Farley up from a nap to get a photo with him. And if Chris looks visibly grumpy, well, that's because he was shooting his scenes for Billy Madison and Tommy Boy at the exact same time. The man was tired.
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
Tamra Davis recalls that Chris Farley was a dream to work with, describing him almost as a well of comedic material that never ran dry.
Everybody on? Good. Great. Grand. Wonderful. No yelling on the bus.
But that was mostly due to the fact that he would down 6 shots of espresso before his scenes. And right before he jumped behind the wheel of the bus, Chris held his breath to achieve a nice red complexion.
I'll turn this damn bus around.
And this character was just such a spot-on representation of the types of school bus drivers we had before the days of mandatory background checks.
That'll end your precious little field trip pretty damn quick, huh?
As Billy advances through each level of school, now that I know Lorne Michaels suggested setting the entire movie in one grade, it's easier than ever to appreciate Tim Herlihy and Adam Sandler for completely ignoring that advice. Because seeing Billy go from Mr. Cool Guy among his elementary school cohorts to the biggest loser at his high school was the exact plot turn this movie needed.
Don't talk to me.
And why is that?
Because you're a loser.
Billy only manages to befriend 2 of the biggest self-described losers in the school, Rod and Paul.
Wait till they start with the wedgies.
Yeah, you ought to start cutting your underwear before you get to school.
By the way, does anyone else's brain immediately go into fight or flight mode the second they look at this kid because of his role in one of the most traumatizing but awesome episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark? But just as he's getting ready to finish off high school, a shocking news report breaks about the 27-year-old millionaire son of a hotel tycoon that cheated his way through elementary school.
What the hell? And now maybe it's somebody else.
Suspecting that Eric sabotaged his grade school career, Billy challenges him to an academic decathlon to prove that he's the smarter man and worthy of running Madison hotels.
Me versus you.
The only version of the Billy Madison script that exists online is the one that was used during production, but apparently before Rich Wilkes did some uncredited rewrites to the screenplay, this entire academic decathlon section didn't exist. Instead, the film kind of just ended with Billy's graduation.
And then you needed some kind of climax rather than just a graduation from high school, make it this academic decathlon with this guy. But then Sandler and Herlihy wrote all of the scenes within that.
And just knowing that we almost missed out on Jim Downey's iconic monologue makes me so thankful for Rich Wilkes.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Also, I'm not sure if he was going to reappear during that original ending, but I just cannot imagine this movie without Steve Buscemi as Danny McGrath.
Man, I'm glad I called that guy.
However, because the Writers Guild has some whack-ass rules, Rich Wilkes technically didn't make enough changes to the script
Technically, just shut up!
to earn a writing credit on the movie.
I didn't do enough to get credit. That's not the way the Writers Guild works.
Rich was responsible for the bathtub scene.
Shampoo is better. Conditioner is better.
He wrote in the part where the Penguin returns at Veronica's apartment later on in the movie.
So sorry to interrupt.
And he fleshed out the O'Doyle family to give Billy a constant in-school antagonist throughout the movie,
O'Doyle, I got a feeling your whole family's going down.
resulting in one of the funniest running gags that gets a great payoff towards the end. Tim Herlihy later admitted that the chance to shoot Billy Madison turned him and Sandler into dicks. They didn't know what they were doing, but they wanted to do it their way. Further elaborating with, all that gibberish talk, that was in the script. We thought we were doing Shakespeare.
To be or not to be.
Which explains the over 30 minutes of deleted scenes. And it's a good thing they were deleted because a lot of those scenes range from painfully unfunny
Billy's not here. I'm a dog.
to just plain weird. I'm looking at you, locker room scene. But there were also a bunch of lines cut from the song and dance scene. One section in the script seemingly wasn't filmed, in which Danny McGrath sits at home watching the whole thing play out on his TV while laying fully naked on his couch. But they did film Eric joining in to mock Billy from his Death Star reminiscent office.
Madison hotels will soon be mine. Peanut pie is best served heated.
And Norm got his own section of the song that absolutely should have been left in.
Sit around, drink beer all day, light bags of shit and run.
However, Tamra Davis claims that Adam Sandler helped with the entire editing process, fine-tuning the comedic timing of each scene, while also giving the editor the green light to trim out anything that just didn't work.
Did I hurt your foot? I didn't mean to.
O'Doyle rules.
To the surprise of Universal, who truly believed that Billy Madison wouldn't do that well at the box office, the movie released on February 10th, 1995, and took the top spot for that weekend.
Oh, Billy! Billy's #1, yeah!
Only to be knocked down a few pegs the following weekend by a movie that Sandler and Farley almost started, Disney's Heavyweights. And how much do you want to bet that Universal was kicking themselves for passing on Covert after seeing his Oscar-worthy performance as Kenny the Cameraman? But it's a good thing for Sandler that Billy Madison did well financially, because at the time, SNL was in some hot water.
Tom Hanks on Naminato. Give someone else a freaking chance.
Viewership was dropping quick, NBC was considering firing Lorne Michaels, and journalists were writing hit pieces about the cast members and their ridiculous sophomoric humor, tarnishing the show's legacy.
Oh, you know that Saturday Night Live show? It got way worse. They got that fat guy screaming all the time.
These factors influenced the decision to do a near-complete cast shakeup for the 21st season, which included the firing of Adam Sandler and Chris Farley. Professional reviewers also unsurprisingly tore down Billy Madison, which Adam Sandler recalls as the moment where he accepted that his movies just don't appeal to critics. And the reviews didn't matter to Universal, who now realized that Adam Sandler was a bankable star. And after failing to convince him to do what eventually became Ed, starring Matt LeBlanc,
there was a movie called Ed. And they were like, do that. That's more like Billy Madison. I said, let me do, I'll do that one after I do the golf one. Is that okay? They were like, no. And so I had to make a stand and say, no, we got to do this Happy Gilmore movie.
Universal sort of reluctantly greenlit Happy Gilmore for the following winter. And the 1-2 punch of Billy Madison's goofy, crude humor, followed by Happy Gilmore's easier to swallow by the masses sort of everyman humor, provided Sandler with the freedom to do pretty much anything he wants until the day he retires. And that's how we got Jack and Jill.
This must never be seen by anyone.
But Happy Gilmore 2 comes out this week, and as of writing this video, I haven't watched it yet, but the trailer didn't leave me with much confidence. Although I am a big fan of the director Kyle Newacheck from his time on Workaholics, and I love that Lavelle Crawford is playing Chubb's son. But the question is, will Adam Sandler go back to the well again and do a sequel to Billy Madison? Although some fans and even Mark Beltzman have previously begged for a sequel, I hope that they never do one. Like half of the original cast has passed on, Bridgette Wilson retired from acting years ago, and it would probably just be about Billy attending college for the first time because he failed to enroll after promising to do so in the first movie.
I'm gonna go to college.
Running around campus making gibberish noises as a 58-year-old man, constantly getting reprimanded by the university's dean, who would almost certainly be played by Kevin James. And nobody wants to see that, just leave it alone. But that'll do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on Billy Madison or your favorite line. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
You know how badly I can beat you, right?